I made it. A little bit late, but I'm here. So today we're going to talk about executive function in children under 10 development and what to look for, what are the red flags, what to expect. So this is the 10 and under group. Tomorrow we're going to talk about 10 and up. So if you're live, feel free to say hi. Let's see if I can get my comments working on my phone. And if you're doing the replay, let me know. And again, if you have any questions that you want me to really focus on over the next few weeks while I'm covering all of this, drop them in there. So we've got these babies, right? And there's that moment where you sit with that infant and you're just staring into one another's eyes. It's like that beautiful connection, the depth of connection. It's just all about the eyes and the facial recognition, and the babies are fixating on our faces, and it's sweet. They're developing, they're learning attention. Super easy, right? They're also hearing and paying attention to facial expression and starting to soak in language, right? So they get to about 2. We always talk about like the terrible 2s, right? So part of that is because attention starts to become fleeting. It's very normal and okay at that age for our kids to have that wavering attention span, for them to be exploring more. That's what we want. We want the exploration. Their language is blossoming. They're exploring with their language, and the attention is just they're just all over, and zero inhibition, really. And that's perfect. It's all wonderful. And then they get to the 3 to 5 years, and there's really like massive surge in language, working memory. They're playing, they're creating, they're pretending, they're when they're having that pretend play, they're exploring, or not just in pretend play, but just in all the play, really. I mean, this is why play is so critical for this age group. They're anticipating, they're learning anticipation, they're learning how to plan ahead, they're learning about cause and effect. And this is also that time, that 3 to 5 years is also that time where we may start to notice delays in their language. And that would be a sign to reach out and get some support to make sure to support them the best you can in moving forward with their language development. So then they get to like that kindergarten, 5, 6 years old. And this is a big shift, because what happens when they start, whether it's in kindergarten or homeschooling, but attending some kind of a program, any kind of a program, where there's rules and instructions, and that requires a longer attention span. And they're developing their language is developing in a self-talk way. So they're learning how to strategize by talking to themselves, which is really helpful later on, a really important function that they need to develop for later on in life. How to strategize, how to organize, how to work through transitions. So they're also developing the language around transitions. So part of what we see that's a red flag with kids that age is if they're having trouble with transition, if they're having trouble with following directions through, or they'll get questioned, and like the answers aren't always connected to the questions that are being asked. So then it's important to start to look at what's going on around language, and are there ways that they can be supported. 7 to 9, though, is where we really, really need to pay attention. This is where a lot of kids fall behind with their language and or their attention issues, because they're really at this stage of the game, they're really developing that attention muscle, and their need for language to organize, plan, strategize, all of that, like shifting that flexible thinking for shifting and adapting is really important. And it's not just in learning language, but it also now becomes more of a social piece. So it's school and social and learning. And so there's a lot going on for them in terms of language organization. And so what we'll see with kids that age is not able to complete their work, especially if it's because they're having distractions, so like those squirrel moments, um, really messy backpacks or desks, like missing assignments because things are already kind of disorganized. And so this 7 to 9 range is a really important time to instill that sense of organization, to help them to um, whether it's using folders or we'll get more into like other more specific things later, but at this young age, just like helping them set up a place for everything in their backpack, in their room, in their desk, in their whether it's their spaces at school, their spaces at home, but really supporting, scaffolding the organizational piece. The other thing that we see with 7 to 9 year olds is often some challenge with transition. So this is where we'll see more tantrums, and you're kind of like, okay, 3 to 5 ish, you expect a tantrum, but by 7 to 9, like if there's a transition tantrum happening, then that's definitely something to pay attention to what's going on. So this is all, as I said, under 10. This is just to give you a sense of how these skills, how these um, cognitive skills, words, cognitive skills are developing over the years. And sometimes we can look at even our older kids and remember what they were like during these phases and have these aha moments of like, oh, transitions were really hard. Or, you know, remembering that the backpack was always overflowing and crumpled papers. And, so it's really important to just sort of look at the different steps along the way. So tomorrow, around the same time, we're going to talk about um, 10 and up and what that looks like and how that will manifest when there are challenges. So I have this actually in a guide that if you are interested, feel free to pop a guide into the comments and I will make sure to get you a copy. So that is it for today. Have a great day.